Alright guys, for today's video we are going to be doing a second version of how to gold mine in Farming Simulator 25. This is an updated version that includes terraforming, so you can basically mine anywhere and on any map. You can't necessarily gold mine on any map, it kind of depends on what watch plants you have and the outputs, but you can do any kind of mining on any map. And we're going to get into it. So in this video we're going to cover what mods to download, how to download them, and then how to set up the actual mining once you get the mods installed, and then a little bit of troubleshooting as well. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so the first set of mods you're going to need for this is the Realistic Gaming Crew mods. You can use some other ones too, but the main one you need here is this RGC Productions mod. So if you go over to this, I'll put the links in the description for these, obviously. But shout out to Realistic Gaming Crew. They make some good stuff. But you go to this website here, click this RGC Productions, and then you're going to want to download this Productions mod. And then these are some good maps that they have. Although now with the terraforming, you don't have to use their maps. But you can. They are good maps. I really enjoy these backcountry mods. They're super aesthetically pleasing. The other one I really like, Silver Run Forest on the mod hub. But yeah, these maps are good for it as well. And then you're also going to need to get the terraforming mods here, which you can find on these GitHub links. Okay, so I'll have these in the description. Like I said, there's 2 of them. And you're going to scroll down to the bottom, how to download and install, download the latest. You're going to click that. It'll download. And then you'll do the same on this one here too, Terraforming 0.09 beta. You're going to scroll down, download the latest, click this. So those are the mods that are essential. You can also use a bunch of other ones here. So I like this FS miner pack. You don't necessarily have to use this one in particular, but just more mining equipment's always good. Get some bulldozer mods, that sort of thing. Leave a comment in the description, guys, if you like using these miner pack mods. But let me know what you guys like using. But I like this FS miner one. Again, mod's gonna be, or the description, the link's gonna be in the description. So, and how you install these mods, pretty simple. All you have to do is you're gonna want to click on the mod you want. Okay. You're gonna click download, and then you're gonna download it. Okay. Download anyways. It's going to install this file in a zip folder. And then all you're gonna need to do is you're gonna go to your files. Okay. Open up your files. Go to your downloads. You're going to copy that right there. You're going to copy it. I've already done it, so I'm not going to on mine, but copy it. And then what you're going to go to is Documents, My Games, Farming Simulator 25, Mods, and you're going to paste it in here. Make sure that you leave the file zipped, guys. If it's not zipped, it's not going to work. As you can see, I have a ton of mods in here, so I already have it in here. But you're going to want to download, install the mod, drop it into this folder. A couple troubleshooting things. 1, make sure that your game's updated. It's got to be updated for this to work. 2, if you don't see this mod folder, go to the mod hub in game and download any mod, and it should create the folder. That's kind of the first step to getting this mod folder. If you have any mods installed, this folder should exist. You might have to do a little digging to find it, but mine's in My Games, Farming Simulator 25 mods. So that's how you get the mods installed that you need. Okay, guys, so the first mod you're going to want from the mod hub here is the Excavator Attachments mod. You're going to need this for terraforming, and it's also good for a lot of the other bucket attachments that you may want when you're doing these, clearing land, other stuff. But if you're using an excavator, definitely want this. But you will need or want some of these for the terraforming mods to be able to use the excavators because you need the bucket. So excavator mod attachments, this one's in the mod hub. And another map that I like for this, just because it's aesthetically pleasing, is Silver Run Forest. This is a base game mod hub mod. Nothing too fancy with this one, but good map to use for this system as well. Now, the next thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to actually load into the game properly. So we're going to be doing backcountry because this one works with gold mining. You can do it on Silver Run Forest, but you can't necessarily gold mine. You can do iron mining and other things. Basically, you have to have the base map materials have to be in there for it to work in with this. Some of them do, some of them don't. You can play around with it a little bit, but I like this backcountry map. So I'm going to do start from scratch. The equipment is pretty expensive, so we're going to do no loan, starting farm yes, just for a little extra cash, and then difficulty easy. This stuff doesn't really matter too much. Just make sure you're on the right map that you want. And then you're going to need to make sure you have the right mods. I recommend being a little cautious about which mod you have installed at first. Because sometimes they'll have conflicting issues and you'll have issues with your mods working. So, but the main ones you need is you need to have these 2 terraforming mods here. And you also need your RGC Productions and Edits mods. These are going to be really good for you're actually mining things, and obviously the terraforming, and then the excavator mod that we had installed is also a necessity. And then you're just going to load into the game. All right, guys. So now that you have all the mods installed, we are on backcountry right now. One note is you can only use the outputs that are originally on the map. So like you can't use this wash plant on not the backcountry map because there's no pay dirt to get. However, it does work on this map. So what you're going to want to do here, first thing you're going to want to do is get your wash plant, and you're going to need to buy your proper equipment. So the first equipment you're going to want is you're going to want to buy an excavator. So you just scroll down, doesn't really matter which excavator, go to your store, hidden excavator. I like this. We're just going to get this one here, this case one. The only thing it needs is that fast coupler attachment to be able to use the terraforming mods that we have installed. So you're going to want to make sure that fast coupler attachment is an option. So you're going to buy that, and then you're going to scroll down and get this bucket with 20,000 capacity. I like that. This is pretty small with 2,500 liters. I believe some of these other ones will work too, but I do know for a fact this one does. Okay. Next thing you're going to want, I prefer, is to use a wheel loader. A bulldozer, unfortunately, they do not have one that works with terraforming at the moment, at least not that I know of. Leave a comment if you know of one, please. But wheel loaders do work. So this wheel loader here, you could buy this one. And then the bucket, I know that this bucket here, this high-tip bucket does work. I'm sure some of these other ones do too. You might have to play around with it a little bit. But you'll know when you hop in it if it will work. So those are the two pieces of equipment you need. You'll probably also want a rock truck or a truck or trailer, you know, something to move dirt around. But these are the two essential ones that I'm going to set up for the video. And the next thing that you're going to need to buy is you're going to go to construction, and you're going to have to buy your wash plant, okay? If you're on another map, you may not use this wash plant. You could probably use something else. Just make sure, if you notice in the bottom right-hand corner, that it has some sort of input. That means that the input is available on the map. So as you can see with this one, you have pay dirt here. I can set pay dirt to be an output on my terraforming, which will work great. These other ones will work on some other maps. You kind of have to play around with it. Like Silver Run Forest, I believe you could probably still use like this dirt processor, because I know dirt is available on that map, and get something else. So you can mine with it, you just might not be able to gold mine, at least not with this mod pack. There might be some other ones. But what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to buy the wash plant. So I'm just going to throw it down here. It doesn't really matter too much where you put it. Let's just throw it down right here just for simplicity's sake. Let's see if I can find a... Okay. So place down that wash plant. That is the first step. Okay. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to need to set up your buckets for terraforming. So I like to set up my front loader as a way to clear land. So the way you do that is first you need to activate it. So if you hold L1 and hit down arrow, that will activate the machine. That means terraforming is active and will work. The next thing you're going to want to do is set up your terraforming. So the key here is you have to make sure that you're on the bucket. Otherwise you can't. If you'll notice that in the right hand corner, that this appears or disappears if you're switching between the machine and the bucket. First thing you need to do is hit R1 and Y, and that will open, or R1 and triangle, that will open up your machine settings for terraforming. Now this is where the magic happens. So how this menu kind of works here is you turn on and off the machine. You can change what the output is. So on this, it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to enable material because this is going to be used for leveling ground. You could also have this, you know, pump out dirt, and then you can move ground like that so you can dig down to your pay if that's how you want to do it. Kind of got to role play a little bit with that, but I like to just use this for clearing ground, clear the bushes, and then I'll come back through with my excavator and dig up the pay dirt. But so for this one, doesn't really matter the way I have it set up. Like I said, you can do it some other ways. The texture, this is what gets left behind. So you might want dirt, you might want, you know, rock, whatever you want. This is what gets left behind. Your radius is basically how big it is. You can play with that a little bit. You don't really have to. But the big thing here is don't enable material, okay? Now, if you go to your left, L1, you can see two options. You can toggle your output mode. This is what happens to the ground, okay? So if you turn it to smooth, when you drive over it, it's going to basically use the smooth tool from your construction menu. You can lower ground. You could dig with it. You can grade with it. I'm going to set it to paint. So that's just going to basically turn whatever I have. It's just going to delete and paint it with stone. The other one here is you have your output, your discharge. That's what's coming in. If this is set to material, you'll pick up rocks, okay? I like to just set it to paint here. We're not going to have anything, and now we're going to turn it on. So now that the machine's on, you see those arrows are turning pink. That means I'm doing something, okay? So now when I drive over, you'll see that it's actually deleting the ground in front of me. There are some, like I said, there's some other ways you can kind of mess with this. So if I set it to, let's say, lower, if I dig, it's going to actually dig into the ground now, okay? So just to, you can play around with it a little bit. And then, like I said here, you could also have it to discharge material. And then when I dig, it will fill my bucket up with rocks if I had material on. I have material off right now, but that is if you go to R1 triangle and then any material on. Now when I dig with this, it's going to output stone. So just to kind of show you guys how that works real quick. As you can see, I'm filling my bucket up with stone. Okay, if you want to actually move some ground, that's how you do that. So that's kind of how we set up our excavator or our front loader with that. I would prefer a bulldozer, but they don't currently have one. Next, we're going to want to set up our excavator. So this one's a little more important because you have to get really particular about it. So you're for sure going to want to set your output to lower. Okay, so that's basically going to make it dig. Your discharge, you're going to want to be material. Okay, and now when you set this one up, this is the key here. Change your material to... For this particular mod, we're going to change it to pay dirt. So you're going to scroll down here until you find pay dirt. This is what is compatible with my wash plant, but you can set this to whatever output you want to be able to use with whatever production thing you're using. So, for example, if you're using an iron on silver run, you're going to want to turn this to iron ore or whatever it is. There's a bunch of different options, but this is what we're going to use for this. Enable material has to be on. Again, the rest of the stuff doesn't really matter. But this allows you to actually dig with the excavator. So now when I turn this on with L1 down arrow, I can dig into the ground. I will dig up, and as you can see, it's turning that ground into pay dirt, which is pretty cool. So now I have a bucket full of pay dirt. And now all you have to do is throw that into your wash plant. Pretty simple, guys. Pretty simple. So let's see if I can't make my way over to my wash plant. I will throw that in here. Okay. And as you can see, it goes in the wash plant. So 2 more things with this wash plant. You do need to fill it up with diesel, and it will produce tailings. Not too big a deal. Just drive a fuel truck over here, fill it up with diesel, and then out will produce little outputs full of pay dirt or concentrate. So the next step here is you need to actually turn that gold into that concentrate into gold. And the way you do that is you are going to go to your construction menu. Okay, and you're going to need to get your gold room. So you're going to place this down somewhere. Let's see if I can't find a spot for it. Okay, so you'll need to bring the output. Every so often there'll be an output. It'll pop up right here. You're going to pick that up with probably a forklift, and you're going to want to bring that over to your... But you'll bring it into the gold room, and you will process it. Okay, not too complicated with that. There it is. So you'll bring that into the gold room here, and then out will pop the actual gold. So this one I don't believe needs fuel. You just put the gold into the front, the concentrate into the front, right here. You'll throw it in here, and then you'll get concentrate or actual gold out the back. So now we also have to set up our production. So if we go here, we have to turn these things on, right? So you're going to go here, change output mode to distributing for the gold room, or selling if you'd like. This one, we're going to go to distributing, and that will pop out tailings, all that fun stuff. But if you look on the right here, this is your materials. You can kind of keep an eye on this. You will have to empty your tailings every so often. This is that concentrate I'm talking about. Every 50,000 liters, you will get some of that. So that's basically how you gold mine. And then to sell it, I usually just plop down a sell all station somewhere and then truck it to that location. Not too complicated, not too shabby, but anyways, guys, that's kind of all I have for this video. Thanks for watching. This is just kind of an updated best way to do it. This is a mine anywhere mod. You can kind of do this on any map, but yeah. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I do appreciate the video, all the help. Likes really help out the channel. Comment, do you gold mine? Are you going to use this for other stuff? Are you going to coal mine? All that sort of thing. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.